Hi. Hi, I'm Anna. I wanted to offer a time for you to have where you can relax, receive some guided meditation that will offer some peace and comfort and breathing space to your mind and in the events of the day and the challenges that you're facing right now. So it's an intense time, and the mind is intense, and feelings and thoughts are intense. So this is a time for you to be nurtured and nourished and have a bit of respite amidst all of that activity and challenge. So I advise that you find a time where you can sit and listen to this. You can turn off your phones and turn off distraction and just have some time to rest and be nourished and be reassured by this very sweet meditation practice, which is embedded in the yoga tradition, embedded in the Upanishads, which is a very old spiritual text, one of the oldest written spiritual texts, originating from the Vedas in India. So it's all about learning to understand the nature of your mind, to come to a place of peace and ease with its movements, to see that it's all natural, that everything you experience, thoughts, feelings, are all natural and part of this experience of being human, and finding a place of ease to be with all of that, and also coming to recognize that there is something which is underlying all of that, which is constant and which is stable and which is secure and that isn't changing and passing as all our thoughts and feelings are, but which is really reliable and permanent. And there's great comfort and great peace in that space, and it's in you. And we often don't notice this because the habit of the mind is to follow all the thoughts and the feelings and resist them, or try and feed them with more interest, or try and fix them. You know, whatever we do, our kind of habit is to get involved in all of that movement, and so we miss the natural simplicity of peace and being, just being, that is at the core of you, the core of your nature, and which is a plenitude of peace and rest and nourishment and comfort. The Upanishads and the teachings of yoga, the philosophy of yoga, you know, says that it is eternal. It's your eternal nature, and so in practice, in coming together like this and meditating and hearing some of these things, we are being reassured, and we are coming to recognize that even though all this stuff's going on, thoughts, feelings, challenges of the day, incredible stresses, turbulence, even though all of that's going on, there is something which you can turn to, which can hold you and support you, and is holding you and supporting you throughout everything that you're experiencing. So just getting yourself comfortable, making yourself comfortable. And lots of people, you know, they say to me, I teach meditation in Swansea, and they say, you know, people who are new to meditation often say, I won't be able to meditate, I can't stop my mind, I can't stop my thoughts. And I reassure them, and I say to them, as I'm saying to you now, that this meditation, it's not about stopping your thoughts, it's not about pushing them away or fighting with them. It's about learning to see that they're all natural, and they're all part of being human, and they can come and they can rise up, and naturally, if we don't invest in them or try and fight with them, they will just naturally subside by themselves. So we're not trying to stop all of that activity. We're learning to see it's natural and accept that that's part of this experience. And we're being reassured essentially, that's what's happening in this meditation practice. We're being reassured that all of that's natural and that there is something right now in you which is constant and stable and unaffected by all of that movement. This is the key point which I'll go into in the meditation practice, that no matter what's happening, this core presence in you is unaffected by all of the turbulence. So this meditation practice, it's reassuring, it's very grounding, it brings you back to simplicity. And so we're not trying to fight with all of that and stop that. We're learning to recognize that there is something that underlies all of that, and which is the supporting ground in which all of those things come and go. So we're strengthening our recognition of this primary constant presence of peace, which is what you are. And it takes time and it takes practice. And the beautiful thing is that you don't have to do anything right now. You're just receiving it, and you don't have to get somewhere or be good or any of that. You can just allow yourself to be bathed in the words and the wisdom of this practice. So let's just close our eyes, and we can take some nice deep breaths in, just in your own time. Just settling into the breath and into this moment. And just knowing, just hearing these words that however you are right now, however the mind is, however the thoughts are, whatever feelings are moving, all of it is natural and can be allowed to be here. Fears, the anxieties, the tightness, the joys, whatever's present for you right now is welcome and allowed. And it's part of being human. It is natural. And we're not trying to fight with that or push that away. We're not even indulging in it or feeding it with interest. We're just accepting that these experiences that I'm having, these thoughts, these feelings, are natural and part of being human. And we're coming to see and understand that these thoughts and feelings are passing. They are temporary. It might not always feel like that because our attention goes into those things, so then they feel bigger and they feel kind of quite solid and like that's who I am. But in essence, these feelings and thoughts are passing. They are temporary. They come and they go. Constantly they rise and then they fall. So just hearing that wisdom that these thoughts and feelings are passing and temporary creates some space, some reassurance. And to hear that they're natural, they can be allowed. And hearing these words that even though all of that is happening, thoughts, feelings, stresses, there is something in you which is constant and stable and unaffected by all of that commotion. There is something which is secure, something which is at peace, something which is witnessing and knowing all of those thoughts and feelings that come and go. And if we had to ask, well, what is that something that is underlying all of these thoughts and feelings? Well, the Upanishads and the wisdom of this practice says that this something is the very simplicity of just being. It is the sense I am, I exist. So it's described as this very simplicity of being. It's described also as peace, as reassurance. It's described as acceptance. And it's described as a knowing, witnessing presence, which is knowing all the thoughts and the feelings and is without judgment. And it's also without concern. It's not trying to fight with those movements. It's allowing them to come and go. It's pouring kind eyes to all of this human experience. Kind eyes and compassion to all that moves, all the thoughts, all the feelings, all these experiences. It's witnessing them, it's knowing them, and it's unaffected by all of the movements. It's stainless, it's without stain. And this is a really key point about this meditation practice, that no matter what experiences rise, and no matter what turbulence rises, your true nature, this something which is underlying all the thoughts and feelings, this peace, this restfulness, this reassurance, this witnessing, knowing, this simplicity of being, is unaffected by all of the events and the intensity of the mind. It's without stain, it's pure. And just hearing this is really reassuring and gives you resilience in which to face the day. Because if you can really know that, not only in the meditation practice, but as you go about your day, that even if there's stressful situations and the mind is intense, and you can know that it is passing, and that your true nature, your peace, is unaffected. It's still constant. It's just that there's noise happening. There's just movements happening. The mind is engaged. The day is presenting itself. Feelings and thoughts are rising up. So there's more noise, more activity. But the peace that you are, your stability and security of being, that simplicity of being, is utterly unaffected and secure and stable. And in moments such as these, where you can come and practice, you can come back to that, you can rest in that and remember it and strengthen in this underlying peace. and reassurance and comfort. So this is what we're doing in meditation, and in this practice we're coming back to this grounding wisdom. We're coming back to this grounding, reassuring wisdom that is saying, your true nature is constant. Here it is. And then you can relax into that reassurance and into the simplicity of being and the peace and the witnessing, knowing presence. That's knowing all of the thoughts, the sounds. And I'll guide you in how to do that further as we go on. But for now, just relaxing, being reassured. All of this is natural. Thoughts, feelings. And hearing that these thoughts and feelings, they don't define you. They're not who you are. They're not all of who you are. They're an expression of who you are. They're a part of who you are, a part of nature. But who you are is this constant, primary, witnessing, being, presence. This is your absolute ground, your absolute security and comfort. So in this practice, you are hearing these words, you are resting, relaxing, you are feeling this peace and stillness. You're being reassured. And you're witnessing, just witnessing, and knowing the thoughts as they come and go, as they move and play. You are that which is witnessing and knowing all of those thoughts. And when that habit comes to follow the thoughts or to want to push them away or resist them or just feed them with interest, we can use an anchor that brings us back into this primary reassuring ground of being. And that anchor is a question, but you don't need to answer it in the normal way that questions work. So it's not a normal question. It's more just pointing you into this beingness. So the anchor is, when the mind is busy and we're following thoughts, we ask the question, who knows these thoughts? Who knows these thoughts? And the invitation is you're just being reminded that there's something knowing your thoughts. That's what the question is saying. It's saying to you, there's something knowing your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are moving and passing, just like clouds in the sky. They don't define you. They're not who you are. And there's something knowing your thoughts, even the closest thought, that feels like I am me. There's something knowing that thought. There's something which is before, something which is prior, something which is primary and unaffected and stable, which is simply knowing all of these experiences and thoughts. What is that something? It is the very simplicity of being and peace. It's without judgment, without concern. And it's knowing all of these thoughts. It's witnessing them all. So you are just relaxing and stepping back, in a sense. That anchor, who knows these thoughts? It's just allowing you to have some breathing space from the thoughts. It's reminding you there's something much bigger, something much deeper, something more stable, more enduring, more secure than all of these moving thoughts that you get caught up in. So just that question is acting like a reassurance. It's inviting you back into this beingness, this simplicity, the very sense I am. It's relaxing. It's spacious and restful. And it is what you are, it's who you are. It's your resting place. It's your security. Thoughts come and go, but this is stable. This is always here for you. It's always holding you. And another second anchor that you can also use in this practice. And you can use either one or both, and you can just experiment. It's another question, but it doesn't require an answer. It's more a way of just opening something in you. And it's a reassurance, that's what it is. So it's the anchor at the question, who am I? Who am I? And again, really what this is saying is, it's a reassurance and a reminder when you're following your thoughts and you're identified with your thoughts and you're caught up in your thoughts. Saying this question, who am I? Who am I really? It allows you to stop following the thoughts, stop identifying with the thoughts. It allows you to ask, who am I really? What's beneath all of these thoughts and places I get caught up in? Is there something which is more soothing, more constant, more enduring than all of that? So it's creating a space for you to just put aside those places you get caught up in and be reassured that who you are is something much deeper, much more enduring than all of those surface assumptions. Who am I really? Where's my resting place? Where's my security? And so you're just relaxing and you're being reminded, this is what that question is doing, it's reminding you that who you are is not the thoughts. Who you are is this peace and simplicity and reassurance and comfort that is witnessing and knowing all of the thoughts, the feelings, all of this human experience, which is the very sense I am, which is the sense of rest and peace, and just witnessing and knowing and being. It's an ease of being with all the weather of the mind. Some days it's very stormy and turbulent. Other days it might be heavy and depressed weather. Other days it may be joyful and bright and sunny. All of this weather is natural and will change constantly. And throughout it all, there is this ease of being, which is witnessing and knowing all of it, accepting of all of it, and which is your absolute security and stability and ground. So in this practice, we are using these anchors. Who knows these thoughts? Who am I? To just remind yourself that there's something which is knowing all these thoughts, which is stable and secure, which is the simplicity of being, which is reassurance and comfort in itself, which is spacious, unaffected by all of the movements. And we're using these anchors whenever the mind wanders off. We're bringing it back again and again and again. And it doesn't matter if your mind wanders off. That's fine. It's natural. And when we spot that, we're just bringing our attention back into this primary ground of being and witnessing and acceptance that the mind would always move. It's natural. There will always be activity in the mind until this body dies. We're not trying to stop that or change that. We're learning to see that there is an intimacy of being, a security of being, in which all of these movements come and go. There is an intimacy of being which is holding you, security of being which is holding you, and holding all these movements, fears, anxieties, joys, all thoughts, all feelings are held in this simplicity of being and peace and witnessing. And then you are just appreciating. This is the sort of real beautiful instruction of the practice is you are just appreciating and resting and bathing in this security of being, in the reassurance. You're feeling it, you're sensing it, you're enjoying it, just appreciating its rays. And you're coming to recognize this is who I am. This is my absolute security. You're coming to recognize your true nature. That which is behind or underlying or shining through all of the events of the day. And in this security of being, thoughts, feelings come and go, but you're less concerned that it's like that. You're less concerned that thoughts and feelings play and move. And you can just send all of those thoughts and feelings, kind eyes, kindness. They're all natural, all part of being human. And doing that creates great spaciousness and peace and warmth and understanding for your humanness that lives in you. So in a moment we can open our eyes, and I'll just read some words from the Upanishads to you, a very sweet verse on the nature of this. So just taking your time. And I suggest that when you practice, and if you can just listen to this video, but if you wanted also to just sit in the silence for longer, you could just, press stop when I've, finished the meditation. You can continue. So you can just use it like that, have the guidance of the meditation, and then perhaps that's enough, or you then press pause and you can just continue sitting and practicing for a little bit longer. So it's really just an introduction to this meditation. So the Upanishads is like poetry. So you can just receive this into you. In the city of Brahman is a secret dwelling, the lotus of the heart. The city of Brahman is the body, this human experience. So within this human experience, this body, this form, this mind, is a secret dwelling, the lotus of the heart. Within this dwelling is a space, and within that space is the fulfillment of all our desires. What is within that space should be longed for and realized. As great as the infinite space beyond is this space within the lotus of the heart. Both heaven and earth are contained in that inner space. Both fire and air, sun and moon, lightning and stars. Whether we know it in this world or know it not, everything is contained in that inner space. Never fear that old age, nor the turbulence of the mind will invade this space. Never fear that this inner treasure of all reality will wither and decay. This knows no age when the body ages, and knows no dying when the body dies. This eternal self, this eternal space, is free from old age, from death and grief, from separateness and sorrow, from hunger and thirst. In this eternal self, all desires are fulfilled. In this eternal self, all our desires are fulfilled. In other words, within this eternal self, this spaciousness of being, this peace, within that, when we're settling in that and feeling the security of that and the peace, all those habits of desire that turn outward to try and find happiness and peace they're fulfilled, they're met, they're held. So this inner treasure, it says in the Upanishads, this inner treasure can never be harmed, it can never decay, it can never be affected. It really is your security, it's constant. We miss it because our attention goes into all the thoughts, the feelings, the worries, and of course that's natural, that's bound to be so. And especially in the present circumstance, there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of worry, so we're getting caught up in that. So in the practice, you're coming to see that's natural and part of this human experience, and all kindness to that and love to this, those worries and fears, and witnessing them and bringing them and your attention into this primary security of being, the peace, the rest, the simplicity, so that they can all be held in that. They can all find some peace and spaciousness and ease. This is what we're doing in practice. So all of that stuff is bound to be there, and yet there's this resource that can help us to be at ease with it more, to have more breathing space around it, to have a place of peace we can return to. And, really holding that little bit of knowledge. This is what Jnana means, Jnana meditation. This is what the meditation practice is. Jnana means wisdom. And holding that bit of wisdom, that no matter what is happening in your mind or in the day, however turbulent that is, your peace, as I said before, is unaffected. Your security of being, your simplicity of being is unaffected. It's just that there's a lot of noise going on. There's a lot of movement in the mind and challenge. But if you can just hold that bit of wisdom that your absolute peace and security is unaffected, that will help you be at ease with all of that more. There'll be more space, and challenges can flow through you without getting stuck and caught. So you're creating, in practice, you're coming to a bigger perspective. You're having more context, a broader context in which to understand. yourself, your mind, your life. It's all held within this bigger context, and it's all allowed. So I'll finish today because I think that was 40 minutes or so. So I'd like to just say that I hold a meditation class on a Thursday evening in the centre, although the Swansea Wellbeing Centre, although I'm now going to be doing it on Zoom. So if you wanted to join, and you don't have to have your video on there if you don't want to on Zoom, you can just join the conversation and we can all practice together and just hear some of these words again. And you're really welcome to join. That would be great. I also do one-to-one work, meditation, guided meditation, talking through things that you're finding difficult and applying the meditation practice. So I'm doing that through Zoom or on the telephone. So there's lots of support. My work's donation basis at the moment. One-to-one is well, anyway, if you wanted to get in touch with me, you can. My number's 0797 264 2678, and I'll post my details somewhere in this video. Okay, thank you. Look after yourself. Take time to practice. It'll help you through all this time. Namaste. Thank you.